Okay, I think that we can start. So, welcome to all to this global stakeholder meeting inside the H2MA project. So, this is like the second edition of this global stakeholder meeting. And the purpose of this venue is to explain a little bit about the project that is the H2MA project and an Alpine Space project that is dealing with green hydrogen mobility, and also to we can say propose you a way to engage you into this process. We will see together what is like the scene in which this project is set, and also which are the main goal and we say outputs that we want to require to you engaging into these activities. Just kindly ask eventually to mute yourself. We will have, as I was saying, after the talks, a brief moment of discussion, question and answer. And so let me start like presenting a little bit about the project of H2MA. So for doing that, I will go on our website and showing a little video that is explaining a little bit what is we can say the project and how it's born and which is the goal of the overall goal of this important activity that is run by several partners across the Alpine space. So just 1 second that I share the video. Okay. So Okay, I think that you can see my screen. Now let's go to the video. Okay.
Welcome to the H2MA project, a project co-founded by the European Union and the Interreg Alpine Space Program.
The H2MA project comprises 3 public administrations, 4 business support organizations, 2 research organizations, a business cluster, and a logistics company, involving a consortium from all 5 European Alpine countries, 11 partners and 21 observers, with a specific objective: promoting energy efficiency and reducing greenhouse gas emissions, following the Sustainable Development Goals. Affordable and clean energy, essential to combat climate change, promote economic growth, and improve living standards for communities around the world.
What are the H2MA key alpine space needs?
Climate change challenge. 30% of GHG emissions in the Alpine macro region are attributed to transport, with freight and urban transportation being major contributors to air pollution and noise. A promising solution. Hydrogen produced from renewable energy is a zero-carbon alternative for powering vehicles, trains, ships, machinery, and even airplanes. Transnational cooperation. The emergence of economically viable green hydrogen ecosystems requires a critical mass of applications and streamlined infrastructure development.
What are the main outputs of the project?
Green hydrogen routes. Map alpine transportation routes that integrate current and planned green H2 infrastructure. Hydrogen strategies. 12 national and territorial hydrogen strategies in the Alpine area will be updated, integrating H2MA results. Resources and tools. Transfer-ready studies, resources, and tools that can be employed to improve green H2 mobility infrastructure and governance. Memoranda of cooperation. Signed collaboration agreements between partners and businesses to facilitate public and private investments. What will be the impact of the project? H2MA project will improve the coordination and planning capacities of policy, authorities and stakeholders regarding green H2 mobility, contribute to saving thousands CO2 tons per year by 2030, proliferate the creation of green hydrogen valleys by strengthening public-private synergies with businesses in the green H2 mobility. Green hydrogen is mainly produced through the electrolysis of water, using renewable energy sources such as solar or wind energy. This process is known to be environmentally sustainable as it does not emit carbon and can significantly help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Electrolysis involves splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen with the help of electricity. When a direct current is passed through the water, oxygen appears at the positive anodes, while hydrogen is released from the negative cathodes. In terms of volume, exactly 2 times more hydrogen is produced than oxygen. The H2MA project sets up and tests an innovative cooperation mechanism to plan the optimal location of upcoming green H2 mobility infrastructure as a cost-efficient and transfer-ready solution for identifying H2 routes across the Alpine transportation network. The partnership, observers, and targeted stakeholders cover the whole business value chain of green H2 mobility and have the critical policy-making capacity required to position the Alpine area as EU's leading zero-carbon transportation hub. Thanks to their determination and collaboration, our partners have shown that it is possible to explore the Alps in a sustainable way. They have paved the way for a future where the beauty of the Alps is preserved for generations to come.
We invite you to join the H2MA platform, a community of people and institutions that share tools and experiences to support successful low-carbon energy transition strategies. By registering to the platform, you will have access to valuable content, promote events, and also subscribe to our newsletter.
Are you ready to join us in this new energy transition?
And so we have seen a little bit about the H2MA project. As you have seen from the video, is like a complex partnership. In the last slides, were like show all the organizations that are promoting this initiative that is probably related to the energy transition of especially the so-called hard-to-abate sectors, for example, the one of logistics, the one of freight transport, providing green hydrogen routes. But let's now a little bit set the scenes about the European context about green hydrogen and what is, we can say, the scenario in which we are acting today. Of course, we are not the only project that is working on that. We will see after my brief presentation also a contribution from other colleagues from other projects that are working on hydrogen. But just to share you the, you say, the very important mission that all of us we are trying to achieve, that is, of course, requiring collaborative efforts and especially public and private partnership, because of course this is like a collective effort that we have to achieve together in order to promote this transition into the green hydrogen. So I will share again the slides that I was showing before, just to give you some numbers, some frameworks about also the legal aspect and legal, we can say, national situation regarding the H2. So just 1 second that I share again my screen. In the meanwhile, today gonna join us also the project manager of the project. That's not me. I'm Domenico Vito from Fondazione Lombardia Ambiente. The project is managed by Xena, and today also we will have the possibility to interact with our project leader. But let's go a little bit on understanding where we are regarding hydrogen. So actually, the hydrogen strategy at the European level is part of the European Green Deal. And for the European hydrogen strategy, European Union has set different phases. Different phases that are, of course, as putting higher and higher ambition in terms of gigatons of renewable hydrogen produced like along the goal of the 2015. Here you can see a little bit which are the phases. There is a first phase that actually is running still to 2004. But of course, all the the other phases are reaching the goal of the 2050. As we know also from the last COP, the 2050 is a very important date because there we have to achieve the net zero. And where hydrogen is gonna play a role into this transition, especially on the sector of transport and also on heavy transport. So this is the capacity of the market that is continually growing. And of course, is penetrating, especially in the so-called hard-to-abate sector, as I was mentioning before. Hydrogen can be really a valid opportunity for all the sector in which still the fossil fuel are present, and where, for example, renewable alternatives can come a little bit harder to implement, and we can say hard also to connect and to create a network that are, we can say, sufficiently satisfiable also for the user and for the market requirement. But in this, as I said, the hydrogen can play a very important role, and probably this is the mission of the project. Regarding the roads, that is one of the goals also of our activity. European Union is setting a lot of initiative, especially to create the so-called European hydrogen backbone. European hydrogen backbone is an initiative that also is collecting several entities from the private sector, properly to design the new routes for green hydrogen. I think that you are all already aware about the fact that even though hydrogen can be an interesting alternative to fossil fuels, the very problem of the hydrogen is the connection, the refilling stations, and so on and so forth. And it's important to act at the European level and cross-nationally properly to create this synergic network that can allow really this new possibility to develop and to really become like a very valid alternative to the current market. I don't want to spend too much word on the electrolyzer market. Of course, when we are talking about green hydrogen, we are talking about a type of hydrogen that is coming from renewable energies. And one of the can say very important elements for achieving green hydrogen and to produce green hydrogen is properly the electrolyzers. Okay, thanks to the electrolyzer and thanks to the use of green and renewable energies, then we can obtain green hydrogen. And just this slide to show how the market of electrolyzer is decreasing the cost, making the alternative of hydrogen even more appealing. Okay, so in Europe, we can consider that we have the 30% of production, and also the production of electrolyzers sometimes is also coming in other countries, especially China and so on and so forth. But the market of these elements of the value chain are, and the costs related to these elements of the value chain are continuously decreasing. That's making really very interesting the implementation and the investment over green hydrogens. And so where can be the impacts of acting into we say green hydrogen transition and green hydrogen revolution? Surely on the sector of energy, that is of course the more direct one, but especially, and I want to stress on this, the role of transport. I was mentioning before that especially the heavy transport and the logistics can take advantage to this transition properly towards like we can say a passage towards like the use of more net zero fuels and more, we can say, sustainable fuels rather than the use of fossil fuel that nowadays sometimes is can say the most common, also because there are no valid alternatives to that. Hydrogen can be, and green hydrogen can be this valid alternative. So here you can see some of the initiative that at the European level are still active towards like the transport sectors, the 10T corridor, and the initiative that wants to like create alternative fuel infrastructure regulation. As I say, the background, the legislative background is also a very important element that can really make the difference in every nation, in every region, for a good implementation or not of a new network related to green hydrogen. And properly regarding we can say the national and we can say the regional framework and legislative framework, inside the project of H2MA, we worked properly to design and to, we can say, outline some of the current scenarios at the national level regarding H2 mobility implementation and framework. Here in this table, you can see a benchmark about the national strategies that among the countries that are interesting for the project, of course, among the countries in which the H2MA project is persisting. And this benchmark has shown that currently there are regulations. Some of them are more lacking, some of them are more advanced, but maybe this can be the base ground for our common work, where in the second part of my presentation, I will show which is the request and which is the mission that we have also together with you to achieve. But actually, there are some regulations, there are some goals that are set at the national level. The important thing is, of course, to make this regulation really effective and also to overcome the barriers that are there in order to, say, to implement these strategies. But moreover, and more important, is important that this national framework can talk among each others. And that's also the very goal of this project of H2MA, to create transnational route plans, transnational route strategies. So just to provide some case studies of, we say, good practices, or we can say successful scenarios, in our study, we presented two special, we can say, scenarios that we can say are a little bit more advanced than other in Europe. And this is the German scenario and the France scenario that already have national hydrogen strategy at an advanced level, and that can represent, we can say, a point of reference also for the transition of the other countries. So we are proposing this to you properly to give you an idea on how we can work together also for developing all proper national scenarios. Moreover, I will give you also another element of attention on the role of hydrogen at the international level. Recently, in December 2023, there has been the COP28. I was saying before that COP28 has set a very important objective for the net zero at 2050. And inside of this objective, we can find also elements of transition to hydrogen. Especially, I will mention this particular event. As you may know, in COP28, there are several initiatives, several events that are running into the 2 weeks. And I can say we as Fondazione Lombardia Ambiente, with Lombardy Foundation of Environment, we are currently attending this negotiation. And I could say and report to you that this COP has been a very energy COP, so energy-related COP. Lot of topics on energy, starting from the tripling the capacity of renewable energy, starting to the transition to the, we can say, net zero and to the clean ways to produce energy, has been represented one of the, we can say, key elements that of the discussion during COP. Regarding hydrogen, as I was saying, I want to mention the particular flagship initiative. On 5 of December, into the venue in Dubai, there has been a very important conference that was led directly from the presidency of COP, from the Sultan Al Jaber, that remarked that is important and is flagship to invest over hydrogen. A lot of investment has been also unlocked towards the hydrogen. So just to remark that this hydrogen challenge that we want to face in this project is also an international challenge that also have an highlight into the COP28. That's why our commitment today, our request to you to collaborate with us in our process. Of course, as I was mentioning before, even though the hydrogen is a very interesting possibility, there are some barriers. There are some barriers related to the lack of a proper network, a lack of, we can say, constant refueling station, and so on and so forth. But addressing these barriers is properly the goal that we are asking to you, no? So also to tell us which are the current, we can say, difficulties and we can say elements that cannot allow a full development of the market, properly to try to overcome them and to create, we can say, a more synergic and more, we can say, stakeholder-oriented routes regarding green H2 hydrogen. So to overcome this barrier, of course, is important to establish specific targets towards green hydrogen mobility. It's important to harmonize the policies. As I was saying before, working at the transalpine level give the opportunity properly to connect the different and maybe disconnected regional plan. And working at the level of European project is properly allowing this kind of possibility. It's important to coordinate about, for example, the current pipelines that are already there. We have seen the TEN-T corridor, all the European initiatives that are already present towards like connecting different networks. And of course, it's important to establish common safety standards and requirements for the design and the operation of the hydrogen refueling station. And that's it. So what's the goal at the end? The goal is to include you in a process to design pilot testing green transalpine H2 mobility routes. But before going a little bit more over this goal that we want to propose to you today, I want to share a contribution from a colleague. As I was said before, we are not the only one that are working on hydrogen. There are currently different projects that at the alpine space are properly pushing toward this green hydrogen transition. And in particular, I will share with you a contribution, a video contribution from a colleague from the European project Amethyst, Etienne Vientot, that properly, we can say, was present into the previous edition of this global stakeholder meeting. Unfortunately, today he cannot join the venue, but at least I want to share with you his words. So I will like make the video. Just 1 second. In the meanwhile, if there are questions or some requests, you can already write them in chat and we can address after, of course, during our discussion. Okay, so I think we are here. For being present here today, and also to ask him to share the experience of the Amethyst project.
Hello, good morning, Domenico. Good morning to all. Many thanks for the invitation for this interesting webinar. I just want to talk a bit more than Amethyst, but what's happening in the Alps and how we could, I don't know, work together to better deploy the hydrogen. So my name is Etienne Vienot. I work at the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes Energy Agency. We are coordinating the other Alpine Space project dealing on hydrogen that is called Amethyst, that is focusing on mountain areas. And I'm also co-leader of the Action Group 9 of EUSALP dealing on energy. And in the frame of EUSALP, we defined together with the executive board and the other action group what we call cross-cutting priority. And one of these cross-cutting priority for the next 2 years is about accelerating the energy transition in the Alps, and it is mainly focusing on the development of hydrogen in the Alps. So with this cross-cutting priority that we are sharing with the Action Group 2 dealing on the economy and the Action Group 4 dealing on transport, we really want to accelerate the hydrogen deployment, and we have 4 main objectives. The first one is to foster investment in hydrogen infrastructure in the Alps, relying on the Alpine hydrogen value chain. You know better than me that we have some very good strength concerning the hydrogen economy in the Alps. So we really want to foster this investment to foster also economy. We want with that bringing out new concrete hydrogen projects, both in mountain but also in urban area. And this new concrete hydrogen project should be based on the Amethyst and on the H2MA results. So we are very willing to understand what you're going to produce and your results in the H2MA project. And I'm already in contact with the coordinator. We want also to connect our EUSALP hydrogen initiative, so your project, our project, with also some other hydrogen project, mainly funded through the Clean Hydrogen Partnership as this Hydrogen Valley. You know that we have some hydrogen valleys, the project that were approved in the Alps, in the Adriatic part, in the Auvergne part, in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes part also. We just got a project on that. and also some small-scale hydrogen valley. And in our project, Amethyst, we noticed that sometimes it's a bit difficult to convince public authorities to invest and to go in the hydrogen deployment and technology for plenty of reasons that we will share with you in some other occasion. And we really think that it's really important to connect all these projects dealing on hydrogen, the one dealing more on public authorities, the one that are more dedicated to fostering the economic sector, because to deploy hydrogen project, we need really this public and private stakeholders that are speaking together. And together with that, we want to accelerate the energy transition in the transport sector. So that's our objective. What we want to produce at the end, so at the end of 2025, so it will come quite quickly. It's one Alpine hydrogen roadmap. And again, we don't want to establish the Amethyst roadmap, but really sharing with other projects, with yours and the other clean hydrogen partnership projects. There will be one political declaration or recommendation for the executive board of EUSALP on energy transition in the transport system. We'll have some best practice published on the EUSALP platform, and we are going to release what we call our Alpine Hydrogen online platform to produce and disseminate knowledge at Alpine level on hydrogen. So this to go a little bit more, but not too much in the details. So concerning the hydrogen roadmap, so we're going to work with the Alpine Hydrogen Focus Group, whose members have signed a letter of intent of cooperation on hydrogen a few years ago. So there are actually 10 regions member of this Alpine focus group. So we want to rely on this focus group, but also on other Alpine initiatives, really to establish this roadmap. So we will organize some workshop, and we plan to organize in our Amethyst project big Alpine Hydrogen Conference in Trento next year on 15 and 16 of October, where you are all invited. You will receive soon some more invitation. And we really would like to have one part of this conference dedicated to really put the basis on this roadmap together with the other projects. And this roadmap should be released by the end of 2025 through the Alpine Annual Forum. At that time, that will be Austria, that will be presidency, that will host the presidency of EUSALP. Concerning the contribution of the transport sector, of the transport group, I mean, so they will really, their goal is to republish this policy recommendation and political declaration. So they will commission a study by this year to work on this and really dedicated to the mobility. And the Action Group 9 contribution is really to promote all the EUSALP initiative at European level. So we participate usually to the European week of macro-regional strategy, where we try to make link with some other macro-regional strategy, really to understand how do they work to foster the hydrogen. And to be honest, we are seen in the Alps as quite a European leader of deployment of hydrogen. So it's more like the other strategy that are looking at us to understand what we do and how do we work to really deploy hydrogen. And our goal will be also to organize this conference together with the launch of the online platform. So just what to finish, what I want to say is that really we wants to collaborate. We think that it won't be feasible for all project to, let's say, to work alone. We really have to combine our strength, our results. If we want that in, let's say, a midterm or even in 10 years, we can really have a good network of refueling station, a good deployment of hydrogen technology with buses available on the market, coaches, and some other material. We also want to work with the industrial sector, because if we want to reach a good maturity and a good economic value of the hydrogen, maybe we need also the industrial sector that is a good, let's say, a great consumer of hydrogen, and that should consume also green hydrogen. So just to say that you are not alone. We are happy that you are also in this project, because we think we are going to learn a lot from you and from your result. And that's really what we want, is to share between all our organization, all our projects, our barriers, our success, and our vision for the future. Thank you.
Okay, so we understand from the words of Etienne Vientot, which is the big picture, which is the big mission, and also the willing to connect the projects that we are proposing today to you to other projects that are leading to the common development of a green hydrogen transition. But now that we understand, we can say the big goals, let's understand what is the, we can say, more specific goals for our activity together. And on this, I will go into the second part of my presentation that is going to deploy a little bit the strategy of engagement of the stakeholder that we envision for you and for also other interested actors that want to join the process. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, we have called you today to this global stakeholder meeting to propose a process for design the pilot testing Transalpine H2 mobility routes. So what is the idea? The idea is that thanks to your contribution and thanks to the creation of local working groups, I think that your say local colleagues and our partners from the H2MA project already mentioned a little bit about that. Through this local working group, we can co-design and co-product some, say, routes, some ideas of routes that then can come into a global master plan for a Transalpine green H2 mobility. So as I was saying, the process and the methodology that we want to propose is the one of the co-design. Co-design is nowadays a very spread methodology properly to include relevant actors, relevant stakeholder, build public-private partnership to understand which is the core of the problem, which are the needs, which are the offers, and which are the common solutions that, in a way, can come from a comprehensive and holistic point of view of the problem. And so, as you can see from this slide, the co-design as the first step of the engagement, the one that we are doing today. Then we have the exploration of different possibilities, the something that you will do together into local working group. And then like to this run to the creation of test and co-implementation of possible solution. And actually, that's what we want to achieve with the local working groups. So just to say, this joint development have several, we say, advantages, because first of all, can increase the degree of originality of the solution, can improve the common and customer knowledge also. This is like, we can say, short-term benefit, but at the long term, for example, can increase the degree of satisfaction, because co-create and also listening the point of view of the possible user of a technology, of a strategy, then can, we can say, let this strategy more compliant to the real needs and so on and so forth. So the overall objective of this project of design is to increase the participation and coordination about the design of these of these routes together with all the actors of the value chain, and of course improve the implementation on knowledge also of the decision makers. Okay, once we have, we can say, a co-design route, a co-design plan, then also we can say, let more understand to the decision maker which are the real needs and the real requirement to implement the best strategies. So as I was saying before, the process is quite simple. You will be engaged into local working groups. Each local working group will be led by one of the H2MA co-beneficiaries, each one from the proper region. As we saw at the beginning, H2MA is a say multi-stakeholder project. There are different entities that are working together, also from different nation and region from Europe, from Italy, from Slovenia, Germany, Austria, and so on. And so each local, we can say, partner will direct local working groups, engaging local stakeholders. These local working groups have the goal to provide two main outputs. One is the compilation of territorial green H2 routes or design. So basically a proposal of possible routes that are coming properly from the common discussion between the stakeholders. And the second output is a summary report of the local working groups. Then this output will be peer reviewed by our, say, specialist. And then the final result of all this process is to provide a green H2 master plan for the Alpine space. Etienne Vientot was mentioning before that they want to provide a roadmap, no? That also can base on results and so on and so forth. Our role in this process can be to provide a master plan for the design of the H2 routes. So here are more in detail the outputs of the local working group that we will require. What are in concrete these outputs? The first one, the green H2 routes, can be shape files, can be maps, can be, we can say, draft of possible network related to the hydrogen provision. And this can be designed thanks to a tool that we developed for you properly to let you work on possible scenarios, hypotheses, ideas on how to, we can say, create the common networks. The summary reports indeed are provided into a format that we are going to provide to you. And basically is more, we can say, talkative. If the first output is more, we can say, visual, it's rendered in a map and so on and so forth, the summary is collecting more, we can say, suggestion, more recommendation into a more verbose format. But we will provide to you, we can say, the templates that can let you give this output in a very simple way. Of course, we want not to leave you alone into this important task. And as a consortium, we provided a local working group toolkit, so a series of elements that can help you properly in this process of co-design green H2 routes. First of all, we establish a series of guidelines that is going to help you to run the local working group. These guidelines are available to all the, we can say, co-beneficiaries of the project that can share, of course, with you, stakeholder, in order to let run the local working group with methodologies, with, we can say, suggestion on how to organize, and so on and so forth. The second element that we are providing to you is the H2MA tool. I will go a little bit in detail with that with a proper video, but just to say the H2MA tool is a software that we developed inside the project thanks to the technical support of the Polytechnic of Milan. And actually, this software is going to let you, can say, provide scenarios having certain input at the beginning. So is a software that is a modeling one, and it requires some inputs at the beginning. For example, statistics regarding population, already present road networks, the current hydrogen refilling station, and so on and so forth. And standing, you can say, this leverage, it creates an output map, so a sort of representation of the possible scenarios. So this tool for now is in the hand of the local working group leaders that then we are going to present, but can be used inside your group properly to imagine which could be the scenarios and so on and so forth. And actually, thanks to this tool, you can provide the maps. Moreover, we are providing to you a sort of knowledge background regarding green hydrogen. And this knowledge background is rendered into a training package for the Alpine region transportation. Into this package, you will have all the elements that, in a way, we summarize today in the presentation, but also more relevant to, we can say, know more about which are the current national scenarios regarding nitrogen, which are the technology, why it's important to deal with the green hydrogen, and so on and so forth. And maybe on this package, I will then give the floor to the colleagues of Codognotto, that is one of the partners of the project, properly to tell a little bit more about that. But before going ahead, I want to give the floor just to introduce themselves to our colleagues of Polytechnic of Milan that have developed the tool. Just to say a few words about the concept of the tool, which is the purpose and so on. After that, we will show a brief video on how to use the tool. This video is just to, we can say, give you an idea on the potentiality and we can say the use of this software that can accompany you on the provision of the outputs. So I invite to the floor our colleagues Paolo Colbertaldo to introduce himself and also to say a few words about the software. I don't know if he's connected or anybody of the Polytechnic of Milan is connected. Paolo, please, the floor is yours. I think that we cannot hear you. Okay, so in the meanwhile that eventually Paolo is trying to reconnect, as I was saying, we have a brief video regarding this tool that is going to support you in the work. The tool, as I said, is a simulation tool, very specific and very technical. So we will give this to the end of our local working group leader properly because
you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Sorry, that's some trouble with the speakers or the microphone. Hi, Domenico. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting us. We participated in the project as together with Regione Lombardia, region Central North Italy. We worked on developing the tool, the H2MA tool, with the purpose of creating this instrument capable to develop these scenarios. As you all well know, developing a scenario is not essentially and exclusively a matter of mathematical optimization. It requires support, so that's what we try to develop, modeling a structure, a support, but then it also requires an iteration and an interaction between the local authorities and the stakeholders to identify the most suitable conditions, and that's what the tool is willing to do. So the selection of the input data that Domenico was mentioning earlier, allows to define the transport option, like assuming pipeline or truck hydrogen delivery, the location, the level of demand, so comparing different penetration of hydrogen in the different sectors, in the different categories of the mobility, and therefore identifying what would be the need, what could be the capability of the region to cover such demand, and what would be the need of importing, and of course the price level that's correlated to that.
Okay, thank you, Paolo. Now let's see a brief tutorial about the tool. Okay, so I think that you can see my screen. Now we'll go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this video tutorial on the H2MA tool. Today, we're going to explore the tool and see how it works. We will go through the whole process step by step to visualize each content and discover all the features that tool delivers. So let's dive in. The H2MA tool provides a numerical interface for visualizing and computing data related to the hydrogen infrastructure for mobility applications in the alpine space. The tool bases its calculations on a database information that has been collected by the project partners and their partner regions and around. It develops three main functions: visualize the available information of existing and planned hydrogen refueling stations and green hydrogen production sites, compute cost-optimal configurations for scenarios defined by the user, and visualize and save the obtained configurations through the calculations. Now, it is time to initiate the walkthrough and understand how the H2MA tool works. The first thing you need to do is to extract the files from the zip folder. Once you've done it, you can launch the tool by double-clicking on the file, h2mapp.exe, and wait for the initial window to appear. You can now click on the New button and select the area of analysis you desire from the drop-down menu. I will now select the Lombardy region. Then click on Start and wait for the input data to load. Once the loading is complete, you will enter into the main interface of the tool, where the navigation occurs through different tabs. These tabs are Current Situation, Scenario Definition, Data, and Scenario Optimization. We will now go through all of them one by one. We are now displaying the Current Situation tab, which contains three main windows: Alpine Space Map, Hydrogen Refueling Stations, and Hydrogen Production Sites. The tab we are looking at now is the Alpine Space Map. It visualizes the existing and planned hydrogen infrastructure of the entire alpine space. All of them are indicated through different symbols, which are explained in the legend on the top right. The infrastructures displayed here showcase the existing hydrogen refueling stations, colored in blue, the planned hydrogen refueling stations, colored in yellow, the existing hydrogen production plant, colored in purple, the planned hydrogen production plant, colored in red, and the Trans-European Transport Network, showed with a red line. On the map, you can click on each point to see its characteristics and zoom in using the lens. To go back and zoom out, simply use the Home button. You can also click on the Pan button to activate or deactivate the Pan function. Following the next tab, we can see the Hydrogen Refueling Stations tab, which shows a list of the existing and planned HRSs with their main features. This table does not have any special features, it just serves as a database for the map of the alpine space of the previous section, and it just gives another perspective on the data collected. Finally, in the last tab are displayed the hydrogen production sites, containing a list of existing and planned hydrogen production sites with their main characteristics. Similar to the table before, this table also does not have any special features. We will now pass to the next window, the scenario definition. Once we open it, we can see that it is divided into three main areas: hydrogen in mobility, vehicle stock, and average hydrogen daily demand. Starting from the hydrogen in the mobility area, you first need to enter the desired value of FCV by vehicle category. It includes cars, trucks, buses, and trains. I will now assign a value to each category. It's important to remember that the tool accepts values between 0 and 1, and at least one of the values must be higher than 0. Otherwise, there is no hydrogen demand, and the tool cannot compute any cost-optimal configuration. Keep in mind that we are envisioning the future share of H2 vehicles in the investigated territory, which is up to your own projections. Here on the following tab, you can see the FCV-specific consumption values, divided by vehicle category. These values are provided by default, but it is possible to edit them if needed. Going to the next step, you can select the hydrogen production and import features. Under the hydrogen production section, you can select the option or options that you desire. Remember that if on-site production at HRSs is selected, you also need to edit the PPA electricity price for its supply. In the hydrogen import points section instead, if you want to consider one or many import points, you need to fill in the table with latitude, longitude, capacity, and hydrogen price. You can easily copy-paste the latitude and longitude out of Google Maps. Finally, you need to select the hydrogen delivery modality from the drop-down menu. You can choose between hydrogen pipelines or compressed hydrogen trucks. Remember that this selection is required regardless of the included hydrogen production options, but it won't affect any of your before preferred and selected options, especially if you have chosen the on-site production of H2. The point is that the tool won't work without the selected H2 delivery modality. We are now ready to see the next table, the vehicle stock. Here you can visualize and, if needed, edit the tables on overall vehicle stock. The values displayed are provided by default from the input data database. The default values were provided by partners and are very close to the real situation of the regions. Now that all is ready, you can finally click on Confirm Scenario. Once you do it, the map on your right will update, showing the results regarding the calculation made on the data provided. The map gives information about the average hydrogen daily demand, from the lowest, areas colored with light green, to the highest, areas colored with dark green. Let's now check the Data tab. This tab simply serves to visualize and edit techno-economic data, which are organized in sub-tabs. The values here are provided by default, but they can be modified if desired. We can now follow with the last tab, the Scenario Optimization. Here you first need to click on the Initialize Scenario button to initialize the scenario for the optimization. A progress bar will pop up, and after its competition, a map is displayed, showing the candidate network for hydrogen delivery, which depends on the selection of the modality you have chosen before, meaning that it might showcase the pipeline network or the H2 compressed trucks delivery routes. You can now click on Start Optimization button to start the optimization. This step will take some minutes, as stated by the message box that will appear while the optimization progresses. It is preferable to not interfere with the operation. We advise you to not click on the application while loading, since you might disturb the process and the optimization might crash. After the process is completed, results are visualized on the map located in the right part of the window. Here, if you click on a point on the map, the related information appears. The legend on the top right explains what each point addresses. There are 3 sub-tabs of results. The first is showing installed HRS, the second displays the hydrogen production points, and the third gives information regarding hydrogen delivery. The last tab finally shows a summary of all the scenarios. Keep in mind that different scenarios can be run sequentially, and every time the input assumptions are varied, the scenario must be confirmed and initialized through the Initialize Scenario button in the Scenario Optimization tab. If you intend to analyze a different region instead, you need to close the app, open it again, and select the desired area. As you can see in each tab, the Save button is available. When you save a result, the following formats can be used: Installed hydrogen refueling stations, shapefile format; Hydrogen production quantity by sub-area, spreadsheet format; Installed hydrogen production sites, shapefile format; Hydrogen delivery network, shapefile format; Summary table, spreadsheet format. Remember that the shape files can be used in any GS tool as input files. This is all for now. I hope this tutorial has been useful and clear. If you want to discover more about the H2MA project, do not forget to check our webpage and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, so we have seen a glimpse of the tool that is going to accompany you during the works of the local working group. This was just to, you can say, render a little bit in concrete the word that I was sharing before. Now we are moving quite to the end of the meeting, but we have one last intervention. As I was saying to you, we have in our partnership also, you can say, a private sector entity, especially a logistic company that are the colleagues of Codognato Italy. And the colleagues of Codognato Italy has prepared a brief video that are in which they are explaining the training material that they are provided for the process of the local working group, and as well their point of view on why it's important for, we can say, a private sector company properly to engage in this process. So now I will share my screen to show the intervention of Matteo Benvenuti from Codognato, Italy. Then we have here also Guido Piccoli, in which after the video I will give the floor. So I start with the intervention of Matteo.
Since 2 years is already dealing with hydrogen mobility and especially with hydrogen trucks. So within H2MA project, we have developed these training materials in order to, let's say, support local working groups with the aim of increasing the knowledge of the actors involved in the hydrogen value chain, and also to increase the cooperation within the key actors of this sector. So basically, to give you an appetizer, an overview of the local working groups, as Domenico said, we will jointly design Transalpine Green H2 plans and routes in an integrated logic. And for us as Codognato, but also from the project point of view, it is essential to adopt a integrated point of view. And in general, the aim is to promote the deployment of green H2 mobility in the Alpine space. We have two key, let's say, key goals to achieve. The first one is obviously to increase the participation and cooperation of key actors to effectively plan Transalpine green H2 routes. And secondly, improve the knowledge of these key actors that we have identified in municipalities, regional councils, and energy agencies. So in order to reach these goals, we will, in next episodes, focus on two big topics. The first one is the importance of local public authorities and policymakers, because we truly believe they are they should be the one to convince to invest and to make strategic planning. So since the aim is to co-design a hydrogen routes, the first things to know and to do is to identify the territorial state of play of hydrogen mobility in the Alpine space regions. And this is something we have done within the project. We have mapped all the main gaps within the Alpine space regions. And we will obviously present them to you during local working groups, focusing on the region that organized the local working group. Secondly, during these local working groups, we need to identify and structure the objectives and the challenges of green H2 mobility. And this is something really relevant because by sharing a common view of the next points, the next steps, we will easily get to that point. So we will also, let's say, develop these objectives and challenges, starting from the targets that are have been imposed, let's say, by European Commission in legislative acts. And finally, we will deal with green H2 planning. So we will see how to do strategic planning, how to implement hydrogen strategies, focusing on the differences between strategies, action plans, and we will also touch some relevant examples of national hydrogen strategies, like German one, the French one, and the Italian case. And we will focus on this because we identify them as a relevant example that shows how to effectively make strategic planning in this sector. And so the next topic will be the H2MA planning tool that has been presented by Politecnico di Milano and that you see in the video. And we truly believe that this tool will enable us to create these routes in an integrated way. And so I don't want to go back to the definition of the tool, but the scope in general is to enable, thanks to this tool, the identification of optimal H2 infrastructure for mobility from several points of view, let's say. So we will also see how it works and what data are included or can be included in the future. And then we will practically test and see a concrete use case application of the tool. So how it can be applied to our goals. And this is what we are going to talk about in next episode, so in the local working groups. But I want also to underline that as a private company, approaching this sector alone is almost impossible. So I want to renew the invite that Domenico made you. So let's try to structure a common framework together, involving the key actors and from all the, let's say, key sectors involved. And finally, the message that we want to address for today is don't miss the possibility to be part of green H2 revolution.
Okay, thank you to Matteo, and thank you to the colleagues of Codognotto. I don't know if Guido, do you want to add a few words?
Yeah, well, actually, two aspects are really important. First, the involvement of public administrations. That's really a key element for us. We cannot work without your engagement, both on the level to understand in which way our tools, our contents can be integrated on your local territorial policies. Obviously, we should be in line and, if possible, support you in a way and get from your side the policy vision of what we are doing. Second point for us, it's really important, being a logistic company, a private sector operator, how we are committed in the alternative fuels diffusion, therefore using hydrogen trucks, and in which way we can invest in trucks if we have a stationary fuel station available on our routes. That's talking about Austria and Italy as well, and the other premises we have through the Alpine space. So in this way, it's really important to have the opportunity to understand what's going on also with the public administration in our regions, because the investment of private sector to support trucks, which are very, very terrible expensive compared to the normal endothermic trucks or even the electric, and having also fuel not available, will be a challenge for us. So working together with public administration is really the key element for us. So we are here to support you with our tools, what Matteo was presenting, and the tools previously from the region Lombardy, the platform. But we really need to have you on board and somehow be also keen and involve you with the right elements of your interest for your planning. So that is from my side. Thank you very much, Domenico.
Thank you very much, Guido. Very important this word of Guido. So really, let's keep the invite properly to join this H2 revolution. So now, just to recap quickly what we said into this meeting, also for the ones that have joined now. So we invited you into the H2MA project, and especially in these activities with a goal. The goal to create, together with you in a co-creation way, pilot testing green transalpine H2 mobility routes. So we will organize local working groups. So each region will be led by the beneficiaries of the H2MA project. Then we will have a round of introduction also of the local working group leaders, we can say. And from these local working groups, we want you, together with our colleagues, to define a compilation of green H2 routes and a design, an idea on how this route can go. We are providing you like a series of tools, a sort of toolkit for the local working group, and together with the routes, another output that we want to require to you are the summary reports of the local working groups that contain maybe these recommendations, also some verbose and some more textual information that can come from the process. These outputs will peer reviewed by our expert at the end of this process. I didn't mention, but the local working group will take place between April and May, so in these 2 months. So for the end of May, we will have all the, you can say, results from the local working group works that will be peer reviewed, and the final objective of all these activity is to achieve a green H2 master plan for the Alpine space. Just to say, as Guido was mentioning, the policy recommendation level is very important. Here's like a sort of workflow that we are going to also give you that can be helpful eventually to wander and elaborate some, we say, proposal on the recommendation and policy level. And of course, we will have also all the resources of the project available, together with the toolkit, of course. The project has developed a series of instruments that you can find on our website that in case you can use for the work on the working group. So that's all from my side. Now, as Matteo was mentioning, the next step is to start the local working group. But of course, if there are question and answer, we are here to receive them and also to respond to you. I just respond to one that I saw into the chat from Vanessa. So yes, you can join the working group, of course. Just write us so we can keep you in the loop and engage you into the regional working group and so on and so forth. So now, if you have some questions and or comments, just raise your hand and I'll give you the floor.
Just a question. Did you imagine as well the biomass used for the hydrogen production or not?
Actually, now we are focusing on more on the transport level. Okay, so we are managing more the use of hydrogen as a transport, and of course, we are considering the green hydrogen. We are defining together with our expert, we say the type of hydrogen that is considered as a source, as a green hydrogen, we can say. On the biomass, we are still on debate, but of course, this can be also an element of discussion of the local working group. So I really invite you to join us and discuss more on that.
Thank you.
But just to say that the focus of the project is the green hydrogen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. If there are other questions or comments. Yes, Luis, please.
Good morning. Well, I am Luis Miguel Varela from Santiago de Compostela, from the University of Santiago de Compostela. I am here representing the hydrogen mobility corridor between Spain and Portugal. And I suppose that Mauricio Charra has told you about, and I'm sure my good friend Mauricio is here. So we have just been granted some months ago for a couple of years by the European Union and Interreg program, exactly like yours. And we are dealing, well, first of all, thanks for inviting me to this very interesting seminar. I have really enjoyed it, and you have provided plenty of very useful information. My conclusion is that we are developing more or less the same goals, but you are a little bit more advanced than we are. Our corridor includes, well, it's coordinated by the first automotive technological center in Spain, which is CETAG in Vigo. We are participating in several technological centers, several universities from Galicia and also from the northern part of Portugal, including Porto, Minho, Santiago de Compostela, several companies, and we are pursuing exactly the same goals. I mean, we are aiming at the same. So my question would be, how could we really collaborate, maybe also with other corridors in Europe, or if you have thought about something similar, I mean, some network of corridors. Of course, you are really leaders, as you told, because you are much more advanced than, at least than we are, because we are starting. But it would be a very good idea to share experiences and not to discover the Mediterranean Sea in each part of Europe every time. So my question is, how can we collaborate? We are really open to any suggestions, visits, joint seminars, whichever, for collaborating in these corridors and in these projects.
Oh, first of all, thank you very much, Luis, for being with us, and thank you also for sharing this experience. I think that on my side that of course collaboration are always welcome, also because the idea also of our project is to coordinate the different routes and so on and so forth. Just to say, our scope for the project is to work on the Transalpine level. But I think that maybe you can send us an email a little bit describing also the project in which you are working. Actually, we are not the project. We are not the project leader of the full project. We are like the leader of this process of engagement. But surely we can report to the project leader. In my opinion, there will be no problem on we can say find synergies, and surely also find a way, for example, to engage you in some of the local working group can be beneficial for both. No. So my suggestion is let's send us an email and let's follow up that. But I think it's a very important synergy that we have to develop. Also together, for example, with the project Amethyst that is working also on the Alpine space and also is organizing this big conference in Trento in October and so on and so forth. So please,
That has been really,
yeah.
Yeah, that has been really interesting. I mean, the conference in Trento, and I am also not the leader of the full project. As I told you, HIMOF is coordinated by CETAG, our technological center on car industry, and I will tell Joaquin Sierra, the coordinator of the project. I am leading the research and also leading teaching. But I will tell him to send an email formally to the leader of your project. I mean, can you provide the
Yes,
the
sure.
emails, please?
Yeah. Yes, I think that, let's see if he's in the show. No, he's not yet there. Okay, yes, I will provide to maybe Maurizio the email and then you can
Okay, yeah,
or if you can leave the email in the chat, I can send to you.
That's absolutely okay. I have a very long and intense friendship with Mauricio, so it's okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm really open to collaborate with you. We are really looking forward to it and to participate in joint initiatives and learn from you because you are more advanced, but we also have some strengths that I think you will find appropriate for your goals. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't know if there are other question, comment, intervention.
Yes, I have one question. So, hello, I'm Jacques N from Pôle Véhicules du Futur. I'm a colleague of Oriane. So I'm on the animation of the hydrogen sector on Grand Est region. And I'm also délégué regional of France Hydrogen. So I have one question about the tool, because as the Alpine space, it's only with only little part of the region. It's one old region like Alsace. So I know that people on Grand Est region are very interested about these tools, but it will be at this stage, it don't cover the complete region, only one little part of the region. Do you think it's possible to cover the complete region in the tool in the near future?
Yeah, maybe I will forward this question to our colleagues from Politecnico. Paolo, I don't know if you can give some more elements on that.
Domenico, hi, if I may.
Yeah,
hello,
please.
everyone. I'm Jean Delounou from the Yale Metropole of Strasbourg. We are one of the partners of the project, and I know like very well because we are working closely with Pôle Véhicule du Futur on this project and other projects too. I will let Paolo maybe complete the answer, but it's effectively a problem that we have considered is, as Jacques mentioned it, only a little part of our, I mean, in France, you have this national strategy for hydrogen, but you have also a regional strategy. And so it would make sense to have the whole Grand Est region in covered by the tool, but as mentioned before, only a little part of Grand Est region is in the Alpine space, and so at the moment we don't have all the data and all the capacities of analysis in the Grand Est region, and that limits a lot what you can do with this tool. So we are working on that. The first level is that we, thanks to Polytechnico, we have found a way to display at least the HRS, so the refueling station, and also the plants producing hydrogen, so you can see and have them on the map, but they are not taken into account for the calculations. And the next step would be to have fully integrated the extra the part of the region that is not in the Alpine space. But for that, we need to collect data. We need to collect the input data that were mentioned during at the beginning of the webinar, and it requires some time and energy. So we have not reached that level now. So correct me if I'm wrong, Paolo, please.
Yeah, if I may, the tool development was born under this H2MA project, which is an Interreg Alpine Space project. So by itself, the development took into account the Alpine space as per the context of development. The question of adjacent region always arises in any direction, because everyone needs to take into account somebody that's close by. And also, I mean, for example, Switzerland is not included, but it's in the center, so we cannot really neglect it when we are going towards developing for real the infrastructure. So far, adding more regions was out of the scope of the project. It's already quite complex to include everything that's represented by the partners of the project. We are trying to do some efforts, at least as mentioned in the visualization, so that while studying the regions in the Alpine space, there is an awareness on what's happening close by. The tool by itself will be adapted, but needs some data. So the issue is in the user that's required to be able to manage and handle the data, so to provide a consistent set of data and information.
Thank you, Paolo. Just to say that the colleagues of Polytechnico are constantly on our back, and are developing also a new version of the tool that will be available to the local working groups, also properly considering also some of these elements. So thank you very much to Paolo, but also to the colleagues that has give some feedback on that. Okay. So I don't know if there are other Blanca. I don't know if you, yeah, I give the floor.
Hello, I'm not Blanca.
Sorry.
We changed seats because I have a question. My name is Micha.
Yeah, please.
I'm also male. Okay, so my question goes to the designers of the app. I was wondering if they have considered these delegated act and temporal and geographical correlations, in the delegated acts for production of green hydrogen. Just this aspect, because I think it's very important to get information about.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's Paolo respond, but just one required for all. Let's focus today on the process of the local working group. That is like the process more than just the tool. The tool is one part of the process. So surely these things it is possible to address eventually also in the local working groups and so on and so forth. But please, Paolo, if you want to.
Yeah, I can comment on that. So, as mentioned earlier, the focus of the project is on green hydrogen, and we took into which we all know it's quite a vague definition. While developing the tool, we took into account the co-location of hydrogen production and renewable electricity supply. So that will be under the concept of renewable hydrogen under the Delegated Act. There's always some issues in the way we will be able to account for the PPAs and the connection, which are quite strictly regulated by the Delegated Act, but still not like practically applied. So far we have considered also that, so PPA with the direct connection when present. I mean, it's one of the options in the tool, but of course it's all to provide scenarios and provide the necessary infrastructure required, and that infrastructure must then respect all the regulation and all the constraints given on the categorization and accounting for renewability, if you like, of the hydrogen.
Thank you, Paolo. So maybe before getting some other comments or feedbacks, I want that the local working group leaders can introduce themselves for a few, just a brief introduction. I don't know who wants to start. So the local working group leaders, as I said, are also the members of the partnership of the H2MA project. So a quick round of introduction. I don't know if Jean, do you want to start, or Blanca, or Olivier?
Sure, I can start. So, hello again, everyone. I'm Jean from the Eurométropole of Strasbourg. So the Eurométropole basically is a local authority in France, the east of France, composed of the city of Strasbourg and 30 other municipalities around. We are very committed in decarbonizing our territory and especially transport. So we have a master plan for that to transition to renewable energies. And so for regarding transport, for example, we look closely at electrification, but also at hydrogen and biofuels. We have not chosen yet to deploy hydrogen buses in our territory, but we have organized a study visit in the framework of this project dedicated to urban transport, and many other cities in France have already started to deploy hydrogen bus. For us, if we are lucky, we will deploy garbage trucks in the close future, and we have also an hydrogen refueling station that has been that the partners have visited in I think it was in September, and that has just opened. On this project, we work closely, as I mentioned earlier, with Pôle Véhicule du Futur, and for the local working groups, we'll do that together, because Jacques introduced himself, and he's the coordinator of an initiative called Dynamise, which put together all the stakeholders in hydrogen field in Grand Est region. And thanks to Dynamise, we'll have direct access, if I can say that, to those stakeholders, and we'll use Dynamise meetings to present the tool and to collect the feedback from the stakeholders. That's for me.
Thank you very much, Jean. I maybe pass the floor to Blanca and also to Mateusz, because I saw that they are together.
Hello. Hi,
Hello,
my name is Blanca, and I'm working for Regional Development Agency of Gdańska, BSC CRAN. Here I have already, I don't know whether you will see, able to see, our local stakeholder group. Some of them are unfortunately missing. So for us, it is very important, obviously, to work with the stakeholders, not just from mobility sector, but also from industry sector. Because as you know, Slovenia is small, and we have also a lot of transit mobility. So we need to address it both, but to have a stable demand for the production of green hydrogen, it is necessary that we work with the industry. And yeah, basically the routes, the suggestion, the scenario that we are going to propose are going to be on this basis, addressing the production, addressing the distribution, the storage, and at the end also the refueling stations. So this is really shortly from my side.
Thank you very much. I don't know, I know that there is also Mateusz with you. I don't know if Mateusz want to say a few words. Hi, Mateusz. Hi, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Hello, also from my side. I'll be brief today. I think Blanca pretty much emphasized everything that we have in mind in regards to the deployment of the green hydrogen technology in Slovenia. As Blanca said, Slovenia is a very small country. There are 2 million people living here. So pretty much what is going on on a national level. Of course, as you know, we don't have the national hydrogen strategy yet. We don't have any regional strategies which would definitely target the area of an investigation of our project. So we are closely collaborating with all of our stakeholders, and we are trying to do our best. And that's pretty much it. What I would say. Yeah, so in other words, I'm very glad for all the participants here today. So be welcomed, and yes, I hope that as a gentleman from Spain, and as for everybody that wanted to just express the possibility of making synergies with us, yes, we will try to do our best, and we will try to just collaborate with you all. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Mateusz is also the project leader of the project, so thank you for his work, and congratulations to the group of Slovenia that is starting today, and very good luck for your work.
Thank you. I would just like to add something else. We're very, very lucky and very honored and happy that today one of our stakeholder groups is also from the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Energy. And I have to emphasize that I think for us it's very, very important that we can work with the national level in terms of developing policy, because the policies are playing really a crucial role in the hydrogen implementation, and basically we cannot do it without them. And especially also I'm very happy that Mateusz is here, because we are going to collaborate and address the whole Slovenia basically. So that's really all from me.
Thank you very much, Blanca, for highlighting this. I agree with you. As also Guido was mentioning, and also Etienne from Ametis was mentioning, working with the policy level is crucial to develop a green hydrogen transition. Congratulations also for your group, and really the best and good luck for the starting of your work today. We are honored to see in practice the start of the local working group. So thank you very much. So let's pass now to Germany. I saw Olivier and also Eleonora. If you want to introduce yourself briefly and share a few words with us.
Yeah, thanks, Domenico. Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver Jochum. I'm working at Klimapartner Südbaden. We are located in Freiburg, a city in South Germany. And we are, let's say, an NGO. And we're working on topics regarding sustainability. And one of the topic, of course, is hydrogen. And as you know, Germany has a national hydrogen strategy. We also have the state hydrogen strategy. And right now we are working with all of our districts in Südbaden with a regional hydrogen strategy. And for this, the H2MA tool will be involved. And there are also plans for a lot of meetings with all the stakeholders, with the local stakeholders. And yeah, we will implement the H2MA tool there. And yeah, of course, we are very excited what the results will be, that we can implement the national strategies down to the regional strategy. And yeah, we are thinking cross-borderly, so we are in close contact with our Swiss and French partners. And yeah, we're looking for this. And if there are stakeholders right now here to join us, just get in contact with us. And yeah, I think you have all our contact details, so don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Olivier.
Yeah,
please.
It's my turn. I can do. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Eleonora Zebbi, and I work for the other German partner of the H2MA project, which is the Italian-German Chamber of Commerce of Munich at Stuttgart. And we will collaborate together with Oliver in local working groups, and we will join because we also have our headquarters is in Bavaria, but we have also the office in Baden-Württemberg. So we will collaborate with Oliver in this part of the pilot action in the H2MA. So we will take part together with Oliver in the local working groups for Germany.
Thank you very much, Eleonora. Let's now pass to Italy. We have Professor Antonio Ballarindenti and Maurizio Acciari. Just a few words to introduce yourself. They are from, as me, from Lombardy Foundation for Environment. So Professor Ballarin and Professor Acciari, if you want to say a few words.
Thanks. Sorry, I just
Okay.
some problem
Good morning.
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Maurizio, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Just to introduce myself, my name is Antonio Ballarindenti. Currently, I am the chairman of the scientific committee of Lombardy Foundation for the Environment, whose main scientist today is, as you know, Domenico Vito, and for this project, of course. And I'm very glad to be present in this meeting, and I have maybe been appreciating all the outcomes and the results come out from this project, and particularly I'm very glad to cooperate strictly with our foundation, with the Lombardy region administration, who is deeply involved, as you know, into the developing and implementing H2 networks for public and private mobility in Lombardy. And so our foundation is deeply involved into the development of new sound and scientifically and science-based environmental policies for our region and also for our municipalities. And so we are deeply involved, engaged into this project, and we hope that this project will bring a serious improvement to the sustainable mobility in our region. And so our foundation is also involved in other European projects, most of them about the climate change mitigation and adaptation, and this project could give a hand to improve the general policy on mitigation of climate change, of course. And now I'm finished. Maurizio, you can introduce yourself and proceed.
Sorry, yeah, I had some problem before. Just a few words. As you know, I'm here. I follow sometime in some meeting instead of Santoro or Bustarelli, as University of Milano Bicocca is involved in this project through the foundation. And I just, you saw my colleague from Spain. I thought the idea to share all this information with Luis, because I think, as mentioned at different times, it's very important for this project, but mainly in general for the success of hydrogen diffusion, is to share and to collaborate. So I thought that was very interesting to share and to invite Luis to attend this meeting. And I hope we will have again in the future the opportunity to continue on this way. Sorry, just this. Thanks for the day.
Thank you very much.
Mauricio.
Thank you very much. I don't know if there are other comments or questions from maybe the colleagues that have joined. Thank you, Jan, in the meanwhile for being with us, and congratulations for your work. Okay, if there are no other question or comments, now let's start. Now we made this meeting properly to launch the season of the local working group. As you have seen, some of us already started. So let's start together. And for any question or requirement for the process of the local working groups and so on, do not hesitate to contact us at these addresses and so on and so forth. And also, if you want to become a stakeholder into the local working group, if you want to join them, just write to us and we will manage to include into the proper and regional working group. Thank you very much for the attention, and we will share also the recording after this meeting. And thank you very much again, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.